I will read some parts and pass the others, so we will see how many minutes will it go. So hello, I brought the warmest greetings of my colleagues from the other side of the water. It is my first time here in Lesbos, and I'm very happy to be here. I thank to the organization committee for inviting us to this meeting. We believe that it is very important to share our opinions as the professionals from Turkey and Greece in order to create a comprehensive and progressive approach to the refugee crisis. It is obvious that there is a cooperation between the Greek and Turkish states about refugee issues. The same is true for the relations of the EU and Turkey. However, we cannot say the same for the progressive organizations of both sides. We hope that this assembly in Lesvos would be a new start to create a strong relation between the Turkish and Greek progressive organizations as well. So, let me explain in short who we are, actually. I'm representing here a lawyers association named the Association of the Lawyers for Freedom. Unfortunately, we had to change our name to the Platform of the Lawyers for Freedom recently. The reason of this was the banning of our association by a governmental decree under the emergency laws. We are living under the emergency law for the last 8 months. The government decided to extend it for a new 3 months period last week. So I heard many stories related with Turkey, and I can understand that refugees has and had many problems in Turkey. Unfortunately, the Turkish people has issues, and we have such big problems as well. This is the logo of our band organization, and the next is the new one. We hope that it will survive at least for some months. So the political climate in Turkey and the refugee issues are closely related with each other. When it comes to decide what countries are safe, these mutual relation becomes more important. I know the question about if Turkey is safe or not very important at the moment. So I will focus on this issue at the end of my speech. But at first, I just want to summarize what is going on in Turkey at the moment. So that's why sometimes I give the examples from the other sides of the political climate, but all those are interrelated somehow. So I don't want to pass these parts. I will try to explain the general situation in Turkey, but first I want to make an introduction to the Turkish legislation on refugee rights. So, first of all, we have this 51 Convention. These parts can be a little bit boring for the audience, but Refugee Convention, yes, we have. Turkey is a signatory state of this. Unfortunately, 1967 protocol, yes, we also signatory to this protocol, but with geographical limitations, which means that only Europeans are accepted as refugees, and those who come from the European countries are refugees and have the refugee rights under the Turkish legislation. So this is weird, I know. So who wants to come to Turkey as a refugee from European states? But at least one person I met he was from Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is a European country because it is a member state of the Council of Europe. So we have few people from Azerbaijan, Georgia, maybe Armenia, I don't know. So such countries. But in general, the people from the rest of the world are not refugees in Turkey. We have other legislation. For example, this is the Turkish legislation, the main legislation about the refugee rights. Actually, till 2013, we had nothing. But after this crisis started, they decided to make some changes, and this is the main act. The article, first of all, I have to say that this act has not given any rights as a refugee to the asylum seekers. So we continue to the geographical limitations of the 1967 convention. So Article 91 is the basis of the temporary protection for Syrian refugees. We have millions of refugees in Turkey now. I will explain in detail. But the Syrian refugees has a special legislation for themselves. So according to the Foreigners Act, Syrian refugees must be registered to the Turkish authorities. After the application procedure is done, an ID card is given to the applicant. However, this process takes some months at least. Syrian refugees cannot use any of their temporary rights during this application period. So, under this act, a Syrian refugee must register himself, herself, to use its rights. Situation of the refugees in Turkey. Yes, this is a picture, a photograph from Istanbul. This refugee child tries to warm herself up. So this is very common, unfortunately, in Turkey, and you heard the stories as well. So the next removal centers is Hanume Masume told. I can understand some Farsi, and she insistently used the word of zindan. Zindan means prison. It is not removal center. So I will explain what a removal center looks like. Removal centers might be the worst refugee facility in Turkey. The conditions at the removal centers are very similar to the prisons, as she told. There are many examples that the refugees is kept in the locked rooms for 23 hours a day. In Izmir, the city that I live, and the third largest city of Turkey, we have a large removal center which is called Harmandalı. By the way, this removal center was built with the money that the European Union and the United Nations gave to Turkish government. One of my colleagues was there 2 weeks ago. She was attended as a lawyer of a refugee by the Bar Association. Izmir Bar gives free advocacy service to the refugees as many other bars. However, in practice, free legal service can be useless. My colleague told me that she had to go this facility with her own means. Since she has no private car, it is really hard to visit a client at Harmandalı. Because this removal center is in the middle of nowhere. She explored that. She explained that when she arrived there, the officers did not accept her at the beginning. She waited for several hours in front of the entrance. They only let her in after she said that she will stay there until midnight if they will not allow her to go in. So, lawyers has problems in Turkey. Even that there is a legal proceeding, it is called the free legal aid to the refugees. There are obstacles to use the rights and to use this way. There are problems to get a power of attorney from the refugee client. It is necessary to get this document even if the service is free. Without an official ID, it is almost impossible to get a power of attorney. Furthermore, Turkish law make it obligatory to approve the power of attorney to a notary. Notaries do not go to the facilities without having the expenses. However, free legal services do not cover such expenses. These are just small examples that we face as a problems every day. We also know that the medicines are paid by the refugees in such facilities. Refugees would have problems if they don't have enough money to buy these medicines. The life of the refugees in the removal centers are really problematic. They are not allowed to see their family members as visitors. Adults and children are forced to live in the same space. Children are also kept locked for hours. Refugees do not know their rights at all. Without an efficient legal service, it is almost impossible to use legal ways against the decisions about them. Translator services are also limited. Even if they find a translator, then the quality of the service would be a problem. Because the translators are mostly undereducated and has limited abilities. This is also the case for other professional staff. They are picked from the young and unexperienced workers. It must be also said that the removal centers are overcrowded. My colleague informed me that a bus arrived to the Harmandalı removal centers two weeks ago when she was there. The bus was full with refugees. However, they rejected the driver. They said that there were not enough space in this facility for newcomers, and they let the refugees go in this very remote area. So the next is the refugee population. There are not exact numbers known about the population of refugees in Turkey. We don't have any official data as well. However, it is believed that there are more than 3 million refugees living in Turkey. I think the total population of Greece is 11 or something. However, most of them are from Syria, but Turkey hosts refugees from Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and African countries as well. Syrian refugee population is more than the combination of the number of the Syrian refugees living in Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, and Lebanon. So, only in Urfa, the city of Urfa, it's a city located in the southeast of Turkey. There are 500,000 refugees. The whole population of the city is 2 million, so it is quite a big number. Only the 55% of the refugees live in the camps, and the rest, the 75%, live in the old houses, empty country houses, warehouses, even on the streets, parks, everywhere. The major problems of the refugees are prostitution and begging, both widespread in Turkey, unfortunately. Child sex workers can be seen everywhere. Families on the streets. We every day face with families begging. The second is the unemployment. It is also very common. The lucky minority who find a job work in inhuman conditions without work safety and insurance. Payments to the refugees are very low comparing to the Turkish co-workers. Yes, this is another important situation. Forced marriages, yes, we can change the slide. Many of those forcibly married women are unfortunately children. Polygamy is common in Turkey, and especially among the refugees. Refugee women are chosen as second or third wives. These women has no legal rights according to the Turkish civil code because their marriage are not legitimate. There are examples of marriages between refugee women and mentally ill persons as well. Healthcare, it's also said that legal refugees and the ones who hold the temporary protection ID cards have the right to get medical care. In practice, there are many obstacles again. New diseases appeared after the refugee crisis started, such as oriental sore, malaria, and polio. It is very hard to say that a comprehensive approach has followed to eliminate these diseases. Education. Most of the children living outside the camps, it is 75% of the whole children population, get no education at all. In 2015, this number was 400,000. So, for me, it's a really big problem because I don't believe such a huge population will go back to their countries. So, I know you are here. You came to Greece and you have plans, future plans, but believe me, most of the population living as refugees in Turkey, we are talking about 3 million, most of them will stay in Turkey. So there is nothing that we plan to deal with this problem. These children would stay in Turkey without knowing anything about Turkey, the world, and the long time effects would be really awful. So Turkish state does not cover the expenses of those getting education out of the camps. Discrimination at schools against refugee children is also widespread. Language is a big barrier, since the Turkish Republic rejects to the use of the mother tongue in schools. It is also the same for the Kurdish people in Turkey. We come to the safe third country issue, which is very important. So this is a picture from Turkey. It was shot some months ago, and I took this from the report of the United Nations. The report on the human rights situation in Southeast Turkey, July 2000 to December 2015 and 2016. And it was written on February 2017, which means a month ago. So we can change the Lorraine, thank you. According to the Asylum Procedures Directive prepared by the European Council, it is considered that a country. Let me start from the beginning. There is not a such concept in 1951 Convention, first of all. So we don't know anything. If you get involved in refugee rights issues as a lawyer, you don't know this concept before. You didn't know. But because there is not such a concept in the 51 Convention, which is the main convention related with the refugees. The EU invented this concept, and Turkish legislation has no such wordings as well. So where can we find this terminology? So we find it in the Asylum Seekers Procedure Directive, and it says that a country is safe when there is a democratic system and there is no persecution, no torture or degrading treatment or punishment there, no threat of violence, no armed conflicts there. So, I'm going to try to give some examples about all these subject points. Then you will decide yourselves very easily if Turkey is safe or not. So, if Turkey is a democratic system, according to its constitution, yes. It is a secular and democratic state. But we have some problems. There is an electoral threshold of 10%, which is the highest in Europe. But we have a parliamentary system with 550 MPs. Mayors are also the locals elect the mayors, and yes. However, after the coup attempt in Turkey in July 2016, in the last year, constitutional rights were suspended. The same has happened to the rights under the European Convention. Leaders of the opposition party were arrested, and the leaders of the opposition party, when I say this, it is called HDP. It is a bloc of the Kurdish people and the socialist parties. So the first time during the Republican time in Turkey, a party got the enough vote and passed this electoral threshold. And HDP has a majority of the votes in the Kurdish cities of Turkey. Therefore, the mayors has been elected from the same political party. After an unsuccessful attempt of an Islamist fraction to get the power by a military coup, the government declared emergency in 2017. Even it was an Islamist attempt, the government decided to use its extraordinary powers against the progressive organizations and political parties. HDP is the third largest party represented in the Turkish parliament. First, the immunities of the HDP MPs has been cancelled. Then they were detained. Now its co-presidents are in jail. It's been months. I'm talking about the third largest party in Turkey, and co-presidents are both in jail. More than 10 MPs share the same fate. Almost all city mayors elected from the same party has also been detained. The government appointed public officers to take these positions and not allow for a new election. So which means that you are the elected mayor, government says that you are not anymore, and say that an officer is the mayor now, and you can't do anything. More than 300 associations banned by a governmental decree, including ours. Most of them were progressive organizations. Almost all democratic newspapers and television channels were also banned. Turkey has the worst recourse of the imprisoned journalists in the world, before China and any other country. Some 6,300 academics were dismissed from service after the coup, the last 8 months. Over 100,000 people were dismissed and suspended from public or private sector jobs. So they're jobless. They don't have they can't get the money from somewhere. Only the Ministry of Education dismissed 40,000 staff, mostly teachers. So 10,000 of them from the Kurdish-speaking municipalities. That's the time that the decision is yours, basically. So you can decide if Turkey is democratic or not. The other. We can. Yeah. So no persecution, no torture, inhuman or degrading treatment, etc. This photograph also taken just after the coup. Yeah. So today I just want to read a passage related with this matter. It is also coming from the same report. I mean, UN says this. Torture and ill-treatment methods include police beating and punching of detainees, sexual violence, including rape and threat of rape, deprivation of basic needs, such as water, food and sleep, deprivation of medical supplies, due to which some prisoners allegedly contracted hepatitis B, forcing detainees to kneel handcuffed from behind for hours, and verbal abuse, psychological violence and intimidation. Some victims were reportedly photographed nude, leaving them fearful that those images could be used for blackmail or published to humiliate them further. And it goes like this. So this is a short part of the whole report explaining the situation related with the torture and others in Turkey. So, no threat of violence. Terrorist attacks killed hundreds of civilians in the recent years. Violence spread to the major cities such as Ankara and Istanbul, and I forgot, in Izmir, because I was there when they bombed the courthouse. So our daily life is such this. So we have a big fear of our lives, you know, that even the streets are not safe. Bombings targeted nightclubs, peaceful marches, football stadiums, killed hundreds. Assassinations to the lawyers, and two years ago they killed a member of our organization and the president of the Diyarbakir Bar Association. And you all know that the assassination of the Russian ambassador. No armed conflict. The war between Turkish army and the Kurdish rebels are still continuing. It's been 45 years or some more, I don't know. The war spread to the city centers. Turkey also sent troops to Syria and became a party of the Syrian war. Okay, so this is the conclusion. We believe that the solidarity between progressive organizations is extremely necessary. We know that in Turkey there are human rights organizations, refugee organizations, but we must put the rights of the people on the table first. We must work together with the Turkish, Kurdish and Greek progressive organization together. So, EU-Turkey deal is against the rights of the refugees. This is the fact that we can easily say. Using the refugees as a political tool cannot be accepted, which is Turkey, the Turkish president, the Turkish prime minister and others always do. They use the refugees living in Turkey just as a tool, not for human beings, like my friend said, you know. And the concept of the safe third country is against the basic principles of the refugee law. Therefore, it must be criticized anywhere. Even if the safe third country concept is accepted, the current situation in Turkey, I just explained, must taken into account by any court here in Greece or in any other European countries. It is sure, yeah, the question was that if there is any hope. It is sure that there is hope for any of us. As I explained that we have many problems, but we have hope for Turkish, we have hope for Greek, and of course we have for the refugees all around the world. We have hope. Thank you very much.
Bravo.